There's a reset trick doing the rounds online right now, and it's true, mechanics do hate it. But not for the reason those videos tell you. They'll have you believe the trade hates it because it saves you money and cuts us out. That's not it. We hate it because we're the ones who see what happens afterwards, when someone's made a warning light go dark without fixing what set it off, and then finds out the hard way that the light was the only thing standing between them and a very bad day. Now here's the honest bit, and it's why you should stick around. Some free resets genuinely do work, and they genuinely can save you hundreds in needless bills. I'm going to show you which ones are real, which ones are a waste of time, and the one right at the end that the trade truly can't stand, because by then, you'll understand exactly why. I'm Roy Stroud. I'm 45 and I've spent 22 years as an independent mechanic here in the Midlands, no dealership badge on my overalls, and nobody paying me to say any of this. Before we start, hit subscribe because there's a good chance you or a mate has already tried one of these off the back of a video, and one of them could land you an MOT failure or a whole lot worse. Right, let's count them down, from the ones that actually help to the one you should never, ever do. Quick ground rule first, because it's the whole point of the video. A reset only ever helps if the thing that caused the problem was a glitch or a bit of learned nonsense sitting in the car's memory. If there's a genuine fault, a reset doesn't fix it, it just hides it for a bit, and it always comes back. Keep that in your head for every single one of these. Here we go. Number 9, the one everybody knows, the battery disconnect, or the so-called hard reset. The idea is simple. Disconnect the battery for a while and the engine computer forgets the little adjustments it's learned over time and starts fresh. And I'll be straight with you, this one is genuinely real. Over the years, your ECU quietly builds up fuel and idle adjustments, and after something like a weak battery or a duff tank of fuel, it can get stuck compensating for a problem that's long gone, leaving the car feeling rough or flat. Clearing that memory can absolutely bring it back, and it can save you a needless diagnostic fee for something that was never really broken. A couple of honest warnings though. On a modern car, pulling the battery can mean your radio asks for a code, your windows forget their one touch, and the car has to relearn its idle over the next few miles, so it might feel a bit odd at first, and that's normal. And if the rough running comes straight back after the reset, stop right there, because that's your car telling you there's a real fault, and no amount of resetting is going to sort it. Useful trick, honestly done, but it's a reset, not a repair. Number 8. The idle relearn, usually after someone's cleaned the throttle body or had the battery off. Here's the situation. You do a bit of work or the battery gets disconnected, and suddenly the car's idling all over the place, hunting up and down, feeling like it's about to stall at every junction. Most people panic and think they've broken something. 9 times out of 10, they haven't. The car has simply lost its idle settings and needs to relearn them. On a lot of cars, that just means letting it idle up to temperature and then driving it gently and normally for a few miles so the computer can resettle and it smooths itself right out. It's the sort of thing a garage might charge you to plug in and reset, when often the car will sort itself out with nothing more than a proper drive. Genuinely useful to know, completely safe, and it stops you paying for a problem that fixes itself. Number 7, and here's where we hit the first bit of internet nonsense. The throttle position pedal dance. You'll have seen it. Key on, engine off, floor the accelerator, hold it, let it go, and supposedly you've reset your throttle. On the old cable throttle cars, there was a sliver of logic to messing about with the throttle sensor. But nearly every car on the road now is drive-by-wire. There's no cable, it's all electronic, and that little pedal ritual mostly does nothing at all. If anything genuinely needs resetting, it's done properly through the computer or by a relearn drive, not by stamping on the pedal on your driveway. It won't hurt your car, so no harm done if you've tried it. But don't kid yourself, it's worked miracles, and for heaven's sake, don't let anyone charge you for it. It's the mechanical equivalent of blowing on a game cartridge. Number 6, and this one's a proper money saver when it's done right. Cleaning the airflow sensor, the MAF. This little sensor measures the air going into your engine, and when it gets dirty, and they do get dirty, you get rough idling, hesitation, poor fuel economy, and often an engine light. Now, the easy answer is a brand new sensor, which isn't cheap, but a lot of the time the sensor isn't dead, it's just filthy, and a careful clean with the correct sensor cleaner, the proper stuff, not brake cleaner, and not a wipe with a rag, can bring it right back and clear the fault for a few quid. The golden rule is that you never physically touch the delicate element inside. You only let the cleaner do the work, and you let it dry fully before it goes back. Get it right and the car relearns and runs sweet again. That's a genuine £100 plus saving over a new part, and it's exactly the sort of thing the trade would rather you didn't know. One honest caveat, mind. Sometimes the sensor really is finished, and a clean buys you a week before the fault crawls back. That's fine, that's useful information too, because now you know it genuinely needs replacing rather than guessing. But it costs you a couple of quid and 10 minutes to find out, instead of ordering an expensive part on a hunch. Try the clean first, see if it holds, and let the car tell you which it is. That's how the people in the know do it. Number 5, the fuel trim reset, which is really just the battery reset wearing a fancier name. The claim is that wiping the car's learned fuel settings gives you back your power and your economy. And yes, it clears them. But here's the honest catch, and it's an important one. If your fuel economy has genuinely gone off, there's usually a reason: a tired sensor, a small air leak, a clogged filter. Reset the trims and the car just relearns the exact same bad numbers within a few miles, because the underlying cause is still there. So you get a day or two of feeling better, then you're right back where you started. It's not a scam exactly, but it's treating the symptom and ignoring the disease. If a reset only sticks for a couple of days, that's not a reset that failed, that's a fault waving at you. Go and find the cause. Number 4, and this one really matters on modern cars, the battery management reset after you've fitted a new battery. There's a version of this going round that's another pedal dance: hold the brake, press the accelerator, count to 10, and supposedly the car accepts the new battery. On most cars, that does absolutely nothing. But the need behind it is completely real, and this is the 2026 bit. Loads of cars now have stop-start and a battery management system that keeps track of how tired the battery is getting. Fit a fresh battery without telling the car, and it carries on thinking the old worn-out one is still in there, so it never charges the new one properly, your stop-start packs up, and the battery you just paid for ages before its time. The catch is that on nearly all of these cars, the battery has to be registered or coded to the car with a proper tool. So the honest truth is this: the reset is genuinely needed, but the free pedal trick isn't the way to do it. Either get whoever fits the battery to code it in, or make sure it gets done, because skipping it quietly throws away the life of a brand new battery. Right, quick favour before the last 3, because these are the ones the trade really wants you to hear. If this is already saving you from a needless bill, tap the like button. It costs you nothing, and it helps this reach someone who's about to make a genuinely dangerous mistake. Cheers. Now it gets serious. Number 3, the power steering reset on electric steering cars. The lock-to-lock trick: turn the wheel fully one way, hold it, fully the other, hold it, back to center. And I'll give this one partial credit, because on some cars, after the battery's been off, the steering angle sensor does need to recalibrate, and a lock-to-lock like that can be part of it. So it's not pure myth. But here's where I need you to listen carefully. If your steering warning light stays on, or the wheel genuinely feels heavy, notchy, or unpredictable, that is not something to trick away on the driveway. Your steering is not the place to gamble. A steering fault is a safety fault. It's an MOT failure, and it needs a mechanic to read what's actually going on. So by all means, let the car recalibrate after routine work. But the moment steering feels wrong and stays wrong, that's hands off and straight to a garage. No video on earth is worth your steering. Number 2, and now we're onto the trick that makes mechanics genuinely wince: pulling the ABS fuse to make the ABS light go out. The logic in these videos is that the light's just a glitch, so yank the fuse, pop it back in, and the annoying light disappears. Please don't. Here's what's actually happening. Pulling the fuse doesn't fix a single thing, it just wipes the light temporarily. And the fault that switched it on, very often a dirty or failing wheel speed sensor, is still sitting there. That light is your anti-lock brakes telling you they may not work properly in an emergency stop, on a wet motorway, on a greasy roundabout, exactly when you need them most. Making the light go dark doesn't give you your ABS back, it just takes away the warning. And on top of the danger, an ABS light on is a straight MOT failure, so you're not even getting away with it. The honest move costs almost nothing. Get the codes read. Most garages will do it for somewhere around 20 to 50 quid, and plenty will do it for free, and it'll point straight at the sensor at fault. That is how you actually save money here. Not by hiding the light, but by finding the fault behind it. And here's the thing that really gets me about this one. The actual cause is very often cheap. A wheel speed sensor clogged with brake dust or a bit of road muck, a connector that's corroded from years of winter salt, a sensor ring that's picked up some rust. These are not big money jobs a lot of the time. So the person yanking the fuse to dodge a bill is very often hiding a fault that would have cost them very little to put right, while giving up their braking safety net for nothing. That's the false economy in a nutshell. You're risking a crash to avoid a repair that might have been 20 or 30 quid in the first place. And number one, the reset trick the trade hates more than any other. The one that genuinely bothers me when I picture people trying it. Cycling the ignition to clear the airbag light. You'll have seen the routine: key on, wait for the airbag light, key off, repeat a few times until the light stays dark. And I am asking you, please do not do this. This is the big one. That airbag light, the SRS light, means the system that's meant to save your life in a crash has logged a fault and put itself into a safe state. Flicking the key to make the light go out does not repair anything. What it does is hide the warning while the fault is still there, and that can mean in a real accident your airbags simply don't go off, or they go off when they shouldn't. There is no upside to this one. You're not saving hundreds, you're gambling with the one system whose entire job is to stop you being seriously hurt. And same as the ABS, an airbag light on is an instant MOT failure. So hiding it changes nothing except your ability to see the problem. If your SRS light is on, it goes to a mechanic. Full stop. That's not me protecting the trade, that's me not wanting to read about you in the paper. This is the trick the videos love and the trade hates, and now you know exactly why. And I'll leave you with the same point I made about the brakes, because it's the real gut punch. An awful lot of the time, the fault behind an airbag light is something small and sortable. A seat connector that's worked loose under the seat, a dodgy plug, a clock spring behind the wheel. In other words, the very thing people are terrified will cost a fortune and so try to hide is frequently a modest repair. By making the light go dark instead of getting it red, you don't just gamble with your safety, you often walk away from a cheap fix and leave the danger in place for free. There is genuinely no version of this where hiding that light is the smart move. So let's run them back. Number 9, the battery hard reset. Genuinely useful, just not a repair. 8, the idle relearn, real and free, let the car resettle. 7, the throttle pedal dance, mostly nonsense on modern cars, harmless but pointless. 6, cleaning the airflow sensor, a proper money saver done correctly. 5, the fuel trim reset, treats the symptom, not the cause. 4, the battery management reset, genuinely needed on modern cars, but it needs coding, not a pedal trick. 3, the electric steering relearn, fine after routine work, but never trick away a real steering fault. 2, pulling the ABS fuse, dangerous, hides a genuine brake safety fault and fails the MOT. And number 1, clearing the airbag light, the one the whole trade hates because it gambles with your life and fixes nothing. Now, the honest word to finish on, because I promised you this would save you money, and I meant it. Here's the real secret, and it's not a magic reset. The thing that actually saves you hundreds is knowing the difference between a light that's just a harmless glitch, which a simple relearn will clear, and a light that's a genuine safety fault, which you never, ever hide. The unsung hero in all of this is a plain old diagnostic scan. It's cheap, sometimes free, and it turns a frightening dashboard full of lights into a plain English list of what's actually wrong, so you can fix the one thing that matters and walk past everything you don't. Resets have their place, and the good ones on this list genuinely work. But a reset is a fresh start, not a repair, and the moment you're using one to silence a safety warning, you've stopped saving money and started risking your neck. So I want to hear from you. Have you ever tried one of these reset tricks off the back of a video, and did it actually work, or did the light just come straight back? And be honest, is there a warning light glowing on your dash right now that you've been quietly ignoring? Drop it in the comments, because someone reading this is about to pull a fuse they really shouldn't, and you might just talk them out of it. If this was useful, hit like, subscribe if you're not already, and I'll see you in the next one. Look after it, and it'll look after you. This video is general guidance based on common automotive knowledge and years of independent workshop experience. Every vehicle is different, and warning lights, especially for the brakes, ABS, and airbags, can point to genuine safety faults. Never clear or ignore a safety warning light without a proper diagnosis. Always check your own car's handbook and get advice from a qualified mechanic before carrying out any work. And bear in mind that an illuminated ABS or airbag light will fail an MOT.